Hi kids, I'm Karen and I've come to read you a story. It's from my favorite children's storybook, Stories That Never Grow Old. This story is called Teeny Tiny and it's one of my very favorites. Once upon a time, there was a teeny tiny woman. Everything about her was teeny tiny. She lived in a teeny tiny cottage in a teeny tiny village. She had a teeny tiny cat that caught teeny tiny mouse in a teeny tiny cellar. You see, here's the teeny tiny woman. One fine day, this teeny tiny woman put on her teeny tiny bonnet and said to her teeny tiny cat, "I think I'll take a teeny tiny walk this lovely day." "Meow," replied the teeny tiny cat. "Go if you like. I'd rather stay in this teeny tiny house by the teeny tiny fireplace." So the teeny tiny woman went out of her teeny tiny cottage and started along the teeny tiny sidewalk of the teeny tiny village. Pretty soon, she came to a teeny tiny gate in a teeny tiny fence that enclosed a teeny tiny garden. In the middle of the teeny tiny garden, the teeny tiny woman saw a teeny tiny scarecrow. It was wearing a teeny tiny dress and a teeny tiny bonnet. You see, here she is, seeing the scarecrow. "That teeny tiny scarecrow has better clothes than I have," said the teeny tiny woman to herself. "I think I'll take them back to my teeny tiny cottage." So she opened the teeny tiny gate and walked up to the teeny tiny scarecrow. "Don't take clothes that belong to someone else," whispered the teeny tiny woman's conscience in a teeny tiny voice. "It isn't someone," said the teeny tiny woman. "It's only a teeny tiny scarecrow." So she took the teeny tiny dress and the teeny tiny bonnet from the teeny tiny scarecrow and carried them back to her teeny tiny cottage. When she got there, the teeny tiny woman took off her teeny tiny clothes and put on the teeny tiny dress she had taken from the teeny tiny scarecrow. She hung her own teeny tiny dress and bonnet and the teeny tiny scarecrow's teeny tiny bonnet in her teeny tiny clothes closet in her teeny tiny bedroom. Just as she went down the teeny tiny stairs from her teeny tiny bedroom, her teeny tiny cat came up the teeny tiny stairs from the teeny tiny cellar. "Meow," said the teeny tiny cat. "That isn't your teeny tiny dress." There she is sweeping, and you see the teeny tiny cat talking to her. "Oh, yes, it is," said the teeny tiny woman, and she went about her work. That night, when she went up the teeny tiny stairs to her teeny tiny bedroom, she took off the teeny tiny dress she had taken from the teeny tiny scarecrow and hung it in the teeny tiny closet. Soon she was fast asleep in her teeny tiny bed. It wasn't long before she was awakened by a teeny tiny voice which came from the teeny tiny closet. "Give me back my clothes," said the teeny tiny voice. At this, the teeny tiny woman was a teeny tiny bit frightened. She called in her teeny tiny voice, "Who's there?" There was no reply. So she pulled her teeny tiny bedclothes up over her teeny tiny head and went to sleep again. You see, here she is, pulling up her bedclothes because she's scared. In In a little while she was wakened by the same voice, but this time it was a teeny tiny bit louder. "Give me my clothes," it said. The teeny tiny woman didn't make any reply. She just hid her teeny tiny head under the teeny tiny bedclothes again and went to sleep. But pretty soon she was wakened for the third time, and now the voice wasn't teeny tiny at all. It was loud and angry. "Give me my clothes," it shouted. The teeny tiny woman put her teeny tiny head out of her teeny tiny bedclothes again and shouted back as loud as she could with her teeny tiny voice, "Take 'em!" And that's the end of the story of Teeny Tiny. We all know what the moral of that story is. Don't take stuff that doesn't belong to you. Well, that was it for Stories That Never Grow Old for today. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.